from the CBS Bay Area studios. This is KPIX 5 News.
Black burn marks outline the windows where people jumped for their lives to escape an apartment fire. It happened in San Francisco's Sunnydale district.
And one person is dead and a child is critically hurt.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Frank Malakote.
I'm Juliette Goodrich. Michelle is off.
And let's get right out to KPIX 5's Ann Makovic, live right outside the home. Ann?
And police have parts of this Sunnydale neighborhood blocked off right now. From what we understand, a child is still in critical condition at the hospital, and a family friend says he was just 4 years old. We also understand that a woman died here at the scene. The fire broke out just before 10 a.m. in a two-story apartment on Brookdale Avenue. It spread very quickly. We don't know how many people were inside the home at the time, but we do know that 5 adults and 1 child lived there, 3 generations of one family. Neighbors reported seeing some of them jumping out of windows to escape the smoke and flames. When firefighters got inside, they found a woman who had already died and a child very badly hurt. I spoke with a family friend who fears the worst.
Gorgeous, lovely little kid, perfect manners. I mean, this is sad. This is sad. This was a beautiful, beautiful little boy.
It's very sad for the family, obviously. It's very sad for us. It's very hard on our firefighters, as you can see. They're not in the best of spirits here. It's a hard thing. It's one of the hardest things in our job, period.
All right, now firefighters have no idea what caused this fire. No other apartments are affected. And at this point, this area is still considered a crime scene until it is proven otherwise. That is standard operating procedure in a fatal fire. Live in San Francisco's Sunnydale neighborhood, Ann Makovic, KPIX 5.
And developing right now, a teenage girl was allegedly robbed and kidnapped in Oakland before being dropped off in Berkeley. She was found screaming just after 6 this morning near some bushes at the intersection of Piedmont and Ashby. Neighbors tell us the girl was naked and she was saying her eyes were burning, possibly from being pepper sprayed.
And then shortly after that, I think she yelled that someone had raped her. And then she collapsed to the ground and was totally in shock and just yelling and crying.
The girl was taken to Highland Hospital in Oakland. Police say they are investigating this as a possible robbery and kidnapping.
Some new details into our newsroom now. A man has been arrested in connection with Sunday's massive 5-alarm fire in San Jose. Investigators believe 55-year-old Stillman Pfeffer started the fire that destroyed the former TV news station near downtown. There are reports witnesses saw the suspect setting that fire. Santa Clara DA's office is expected to charge the suspect officially later today. Richmond police trying to figure out what led to a shooting in the parking lot of a Target department store. It happened just after 5:30 yesterday afternoon on McDonald Avenue. One man critically wounded, another is being treated for injuries not considered life-threatening.
Rescuers right now are diving into cold, dark waters off the Yellow Sea near South Korea, looking for survivors after a massive ferry sank, carrying mostly high school students. 6 people have been confirmed dead. KPIX 5's Kate Kogarin is live in our newsroom. And Kate, South Koreans here in the Bay Area are certainly praying for the victims.
Yes, Juliette, local Korean churches are organizing prayer services, and really that's all they can do at this point as a desperate search for the survivors continue. Nearly 300 people listed as missing nearly after 18 hours after that ship sank.
A helicopter lowered a rescue raft to passengers who escaped a sinking ferry about 60 miles off South Korea's coast. Emergency workers rushed to save hundreds, mostly high school students, from the cold water. This student who made it out said trash cans were floating and water came up to my neck. More than 450 passengers were on board, mostly high school students, headed to a popular holiday island. Officials say many could be trapped in rooms on the sunken ship. Coast Guard and Navy divers scrambled onto the ship to look for survivors. The U.S. Navy says one of its ships with helicopters is helping in the rescue. Workers covered survivors in blankets, then took them to makeshift shelters. Many were overcome with emotion. It's not clear why the ferry sank. However, some passengers said they heard a boom and cargo falling just before the accident.
San Francisco Korean United Methodist Church says it will host a prayer service dedicated to the tragedy. It will be tonight at 7 p.m. in the Outer Sunset. Reporting live in the newsroom, Kate Kogirin, KPIX 5.
All right, Kate, thanks. Many ferries heading to the popular tourist island were canceled due to heavy fog. Officials fear the number of dead will rise drastically, making it one of South Korea's biggest ferry disasters since 1993, when 292 people died in the accident.
New at noon now, it's been 7 years to the day since that deadly mass shooting at Virginia Tech, and today those victims are being remembered.
Christopher James Bishop.
Around the same time shots rang out 7 years ago, 32 chimes from the Capitol Bell Tower were heard, one for each victim shot in one of the deadliest mass shootings in U.S. history. The Day of Remembrance began just after midnight last night, lighting a ceremonial candle. That candle will be extinguished at 11:59 tonight.
And the man arrested for a bomb hoax near the Boston Marathon finish line has been sent to a psychiatric facility.
He will be evaluated there, and his mother claims he suffers from bipolar disorder. Alexis Christophorus on the charges that suspect is now facing.
25-year-old Kayvon Edson appeared in court Wednesday, charged with possession of a hoax device. Sources tell CBS News the suspect had a rice cooker in his backpack that was filled with confetti.
Your Honor doesn't need me to tell you the symbolism of a rice cooker on the one-year anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombers. Your Honor, taken in the totality of the circumstances, we do believe that $100,000 is an appropriate bail amount for this individual.
That he does need some assistance to stabilize himself mentally. However, this gentleman is not a threat.
It all took place near the finish line of next week's Boston Marathon, and 1 year after 2 bombs exploded, killing 3 and injuring hundreds more. The Boston community and special guests paid tribute to victims Tuesday.
We will always remember our guardian angels. I am so proud to be a Bostonian.
Survivors are vowing to put last year's tragedy behind them and to run next week's race without fear. Alexis Christophorus, CBS News, Boston.
And lawyers for last year's bombing suspect Johar Tsarnaev want some of those charges now dismissed and want prison restrictions on him eased up a bit. They're asking a judge for that today. They say many of the charges against him are redundant and could sway jurors.
A Jewish community center in Kansas is open again today for the first time since a deadly shooting. 3 people were killed Sunday at 2 locations in Overland Park, and police later arrested a white supremacist. U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder will head to Kansas tomorrow to pay tribute to those who died. And it was an emotional day at a Pennsylvania high school. Classes resumed today, 1 week after a student went on a mass stabbing spree. 21 people, including students and a security guard, were injured. A 16-year-old has been arrested for the stabbing. Investigators say the teen took 2 kitchen knives from home and randomly started stabbing students before classes began. No one died in the attack.
Happening today, BART's Fleet of the Future is making its public debut. The train is at the Justin Herman Plaza in San Francisco from right now till 7 o'clock tonight. This is just its first stop. The model train will be shown off throughout the Bay Area over the next several weeks. These new cars will go into service in 2017.
Happening today, right now, in fact, some San Jose State University students are taking part in an unusual protest. They're holding a so-called faint-in to draw attention to Dudley Moorhead Hall, one of the university's oldest buildings. Protesters say it's an unsafe environment because it has insufficient heating and no air conditioning.
San Jose council member says it's time for the city to start regulating electronic cigarettes. Rose Herrera, who's running for mayor this year, says because e-cigarettes are so new, the city really doesn't have any laws to control them. She's now proposing a citywide ban on using the devices in public. San Jose City Council will discuss the proposal at a meeting later today.
An LA Dodgers standout may have a price on his head. His crazy connection to Mexican drug cartel.
And a good meal can do a relationship a whole lot of good. The connection between hunger and ruined marriages coming up. Plus,
many people could look at this and say, well, it's a vending machine, and they'd be partially right, but mostly wrong.
See what Colorado's legalization of marijuana has led to this time.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Lawrence Carno on the KPIX 5 Weather Center. Lots of sunshine and warmer temperatures expected today, but big changes coming up too. We'll talk about that next.